what's up? This is Herman Li here from DRAGONFORCE, and in this video I want to show you the 3 different ways to set up the PRS Chleo. And we're talking about the setup of the bridge and the stabilizers at the back. Before we get started, let me show you the guitar. This is a PRS Chleo. This is the core models. This is a Godot bridge, and in the back we have a bunch of stabilizers. And let's start off with the action setup of this guitar. For those who are not familiar with the Godot bridge here, it has something called a locking stud. And what does that mean? Well, the locking stud is that you see the studs here that holds the posts of this bridge. Well, they lock in. Here's this Allen key here, and you get this with a guitar. In order to change the action, that means moving the bridge up and down, you need to use this. Usually, the guitar basically comes to a factory locked in. And you put this Allen key right here in the middle. In the post here, there's a hole, and you can unlock it. You see? It actually, there's a little Allen key in there that helps you lock it and unlock it. Look, there's an Allen screw there. Now I'm at the dead end. That means this is locked. And this post will not move. It just adds that extra little bit of stability when it comes to the tuning of the guitar if you're going crazy on the bridge, like doing wild stuff. And this really helps it on these bridges. So in order for you to turn the action down, you have to unlock the locking studs on both posts. I would do like maybe 1 or 2 turns. And then once this is unlocked, you can put your Allen key, which is the same one that you would use on your locking nut here. It's the same key. You put it in there, and then you can make the adjustment. And I'll show you if this is locked. Now you can see this Allen key here doesn't move anymore. That means the stud is locked. I actually cannot go further down. I can only loosen the screw, the post, so the action only go up and not down. So this is now stuck. After you finish adjusting the action to the way you want, make sure you re-lock the stud to give this bridge even more stability when it comes to tuning. This key also you can use not only to adjust the locking studs, but also how stiff this tremolo bar is. There's a little Allen key that you can put into this Allen screw there for adjusting, how tight you want, how stiff you want this bar to be. When I play live and I put let's say I put the tremolo bar here, I want it to be here. When I come back, I know I can grab it here. I don't like it swinging around, especially when you're moving on stage. I don't want this bar to swing. So this is where you adjust how stiff it is. So I like it this way. I put it here. When I come back, play, I know it's right here. I put it back, it's always going to be here. And now let's look at the stabilizer at the back of this PRS Chleo. As you can see here, there's a lot of springs here, and let me explain to you how this works. This guitar comes with this Allen key, which is a long one. I put a little tape here because it's just easier for me to pick up the tools that I need. Let's examine this bridge here. As you can see, all the springs here are connected to the bridge, and there's a screw here to hold it in place just in case things ever get loose because you're going crazy on the bridge. And then here's a stabilizer. This is a double barrel stabilizer, and there are 3 different ways that you can set this guitar up in to your preference. So let's start with the most basic way, how you would have on the traditional floating double locking bridge like a Floyd Rose. You can remove the stabilizer. And in order to remove this is you take this screw up here and you remove this spring in the middle, and by unscrewing the screws here, which attach the stabilizer to the body, you can actually take the whole stabilizer out. You just need to remove this middle spring and then unscrew the few screws that is attached to the stabilizer, which attach the stabilizer to the body. Okay, that's the most basic thing, and then you reinstall this middle spring and you have a full floating system with no stabilization, which is what most people are familiar with when it comes to a double locking bridge guitar. The second way you can set up is you can have the stabilizer in, and what happens is when this bridge is in 0-point position, that means it's straight, it's flat here and parallel to the body, your bridge. How can I show it? Right now this is I would say the 0-point position where it's perfectly parallel to the body. You would have the stabilizer just touching it. It doesn't push it against the bridge. You see the two barrel stabilization here? This doesn't push the bridge and the bridge doesn't push against it. You basically set up the bridge like a normal floating double locking bridge, and then you adjust the stabilizer to just touch it. Touching point of no pushing against each other. And let me point out what each different parts of the stabilizer is about. First, we've got this wheel here. This wheel adjusts the tension of the stabilizer. What it means is if you're going to push against the stabilizer or if the stabilizer is going to push the other way. We're not going to worry about this because we're not pushing against each other yet. When you increase the pitch on the guitar, you see the stabilizers being pushed. If you're doing the second setup where they're just touching each other, I would recommend you to loosen up this wheel almost totally here if you want, but that's up for you to experiment. And that changes the tension of how much the stabilizer is giving you when you are increasing the pitch. You can see when I increase the pitch here, it pushes the stabilizer inwards. And of course, if I decrease the pitch, that means pushing the bar down, the stabilizer does not move, so it doesn't change anything. For pitch increasing, you would adjust this to see how much tension you want to add to it. We have the wheels here, and these two wheels here is to adjust the length of the stabilizer. Right now, this is perfectly touching it because that's how I like it, where the bridge is at 0 point and it's pushing it. But some players, they actually prefer the locking bridge to be tilting up a little bit, so you can increase the length of this stabilizer by adjusting this two wheels here. But how would you do that? Well, this is where this key comes in. You got a little bolt here where you unlock, and you put this Allen key inside here. So the stabilizer, the truss inside, actually, you can put this long Allen key there, and this locks it. Now you hold this, and you adjust this wheel, either with your fingers or with a little tool here, and then you can increase the length of this stabilizer. So imagine if your bridge is tilting the other way, you probably have to get it closer and make sure it touches correctly. Make sure you put this Allen key that comes with the guitar inside there to hold the middle truss, and then you can start adjusting the wheel. And it's also recommended to use this when you're adjusting the tension of this so it doesn't move at all. But I would always put this inside when I'm adjusting the tension of each of these wheels. Of course, make sure both stabilizers are at the same length and they're both touching it. And one way after you finish setting up is testing to make sure the stabilizers are set up correctly. The way I do it is I increase the pitch by pushing the terminal bar this way, and I look at the stabilizers if both of them are moving at the exact same time. And I'm talking like really a micro millimeter, a tiny little part. So I'm going to move it a little bit. You might not even see it moving. I'm moving the bar slightly, and I can see that when the bridge is moving, the two stabilizers are engaging at the exact same time. And that's how it should be set up. If one is moving before the other one, that means one is longer and the other one is shorter. So make sure they're both exactly that. And sometimes when you have it too long, it also pushes the bridge the other way. So that's not the correct way to set it up. So make sure they're at the same length, and when they move and engage at the same time. So let me tell you about the third way to set up the stabilizer, and this is my preferred way and the way I have my guitar set up for studio and live. Starting with the second way of setting up the guitar, the difference here is instead of just the bridge and the stabilizer touching each other, now after doing the second setup, I would actually increase the tension on these springs and push against the stabilizer. The stabilizer have enough tension here from the spring to hold the position it is in, and the bridge is pushing it but is not moving. So what happens is it's creating a counter force versus my fingers. On a traditional floating system, any bridge, Floyd Rose, non-locking bridge, when you bend the string, the bridge actually moves forward. And this causes all the strings to go out of tune at the same time. So when you're doing unison bends like this, you have to bend two strings. You have to bend this one a little bit to compensate for the bridge moving forward and going out of tune. I really didn't like that. And that's the great thing about a fixed bridge guitar is everything stays in tune when you play. So I wanted the best of both worlds. I have set up the springs here at the back on the stabilizer to counter the tensions of my fingers bending the string. So now, if I play a note, a bend another string, the guitar will not go out of tune and it will stay because I have enough tension from the stabilizers to push against the bridge. So I have broken strings on stage and I can finish the song with everything still in tune before I have to go to another guitar. So in order to do this, the best way is set up the guitar so the stabilizers is touching the bridge here, and then get a screwdriver and increase the tension of these 3 springs to push against the stabilizer. So you have a counter system here. You can see the way I have it set up is I like the tension here. There's enough tension to push against the bridge so the guitar still stays in tune when I bend. And I have the guitars here, make sure I lock this so the wheel doesn't move when I'm performing on stage, no matter how much vibration, how much I'm hitting the guitar with my knee or jumping around or traveling. This wheel here that control the length of the stabilizer will not move. If you play a heavier gauge strings, you will need to increase the tension. So it really depends on how you want to play. This is adjustable, so you can basically use any gauge strings you want, how heavy it is, and you can still have this full stabilization. That means the advantages of a fixed bridge guitar where you do vibrato and the bridge doesn't fight you, and you still have a full floating system where you can do dive bomb, crazy whammy bar scream, and you can play rhythm guitar, anything pushing down the bridge, and the rest of the strings won't go out of tune. So that is one of my favorite things about the PRS Chleo. So in this video, we went through setting up the guitar action and understanding how the locking studs work to keep this guitar extremely stable and in tune, along with the stabilizers here at the back, how there are 3 different ways to set up your PRS Chleo to the way you want to play it. You know, I developed this guitar with PRS for many years, and I just love the feel of the playing, and I love how stable this guitar is, and it can do so many things, you know, floating system, and also I just love the stability of the tuning and being able to take advantage of modern technologies. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you get the chance to also try playing a PRS Chleo and enjoy it too.